think like with our generation, especially as social media has come to the fore, we all forget about self-care. And I'm not saying my self-care was like burning incense candles or like sitting down being zen. My self-care was just going to the gym.
Yeah.
Go to the gym, read. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, don't forget like who your best self is.
What's going on, people? Welcome back to the Blackprint, providing aspiring black entrepreneurs and business owners the blueprint to start your success story. I'm your host, Spainy, and today I'm joined by a very special guest. But before we get into all of that, if you're watching on YouTube, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. That is it. If you listen on Apple Music, please give me that 5-star rating. That's all I need, please. I'm begging, just give me that 5-star rating. Make it a lot easier for me, so I don't have to keep asking you. I'll probably still ask, but listen, just help me out in it. If you're listening on Spotify, don't forget to hit that follow button so you stay up to date with the latest episodes. Guys, also for my football fans, don't forget I have a football podcast, the Top Bins Pod. Check us out, Instagram, Twitter, all of that good stuff. The Top Bins Pod, weekly podcast, drops on Monday morning. Talks you through all of mine and my co-host Uncle Tass's thoughts of the weekend. Right, guys, today I am joined. I think this is going to be a very interesting conversation because this is a field that I'm very passionate about myself, and obviously my guest is also very passionate about. So I am joined by Humphrey, the founder of Lionheart Football.
Hello.
What's going on, bro?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me.
No worries. Thank you very much for agreeing to be a guest on the show. I really appreciate that.
Pleasure.
And like I said, I think this is going to be a conversation that I'll find very interesting because of my passion for football as well. Obviously, you've got your passion, but I'll stop teasing what is it that you do for those that don't know you.
Yeah, so Lionheart Football development company, where we actually, as we've grown, we've developed different strands of the business. So we've got our coaching side, our scouting side, and mentoring for young players at all different levels. Nice.
Well, it's football, isn't it? So I don't necessarily need to ask you where did your passion for football come from. But let's tap into it actually. When was it that you realised you started to like football? I know you do sport actually.
United.
Jeez! Listen, come on.
It's not been too good for us.
It's not, but listen.
We're coming round.
Yeah,
now,
we are. We've got to stay strong, innit?
Definitely.
We've got to stay strong. But okay, cool.
Body at the wall.
I mean, he is, but
you believe in him?
But hey, let me not lie, I don't believe it. I actually don't, bro. He's, I don't know how he's doing it, but he's in a situation where because bro, the performances haven't been good at all. And when you look at the players that we have here, the performances haven't been good enough. And you think about the players at our disposal. That is down to the manager. Do you get what I mean? The manager's the one's meant to get them playing a certain way, that exciting football. And with the players at disposal, he's not able to do that.
Yeah. No, I guess that's the biggest thing, the excitement. Like coming from an era we watched Fergie, Ronnie, Ronaldo, Rooney, Tevez, Berbatov, Scholes, and now it's a lot of different.
God, you could just leave it off.
You know what I mean? It's all good though, but no, in terms of like where my passion for football stemmed from, I would say as young as I can remember, to be honest, like 5-6 years old. From South London originally. I've got 2 older brothers and they're big United fans, so essentially they were playing football. It was always street footballers. So yeah, that's probably where it started, just playing football on the road, in the street, in Streatham Hill. And then, I don't know, just the love affair took me down a path where I played and then ended up going into working in football, essentially.
Nice. Well, I like that. So, Lionheart Football, then how long have you been doing it for?
Yeah. So Lionheart Football started actually in 2015. Okay. And funny enough, it was formerly trading as Unique Skills Coaching. So that's the backstory essentially. As I said, playing football like from as young as I can remember. Played at different levels, different centre of excellences, and then I'd say when I got to college, that was the time where the playing side started to become less of a reality, essentially.
Yeah.
If you like, because as all of us do, we grow up and we're a bit delusional, which is nice. It's like people should dream, essentially. Like, don't kill any boy's dream or young girl's dream. But it was around like coming out of college, I would say, that I started to look into like the non-playing aspect and having a career, like a vocation within the game. So essentially, after finishing college.
By the way, what did you study at college? Was it kind of related or was it?
No, it wasn't related at all. No, so college, actually, it's funny because I had a gap year as well before I went into uni. So college, I studied sociology. I think most of us studied sociology, didn't they? Like, I'm pretty sure people from our generation can relate. So sociology was one, business and economics.
Okay.
Yeah, those were the three. Don't ask me my results. Don't ask me my results. But so I came out of college and I was still playing. I was playing for Chipstead, just like non-league team at the time. And basically, like, that's a decent level. But it's like anyone that plays non-league, they know that it's not really a sufficient lifestyle, especially like at my standard. I wasn't necessarily like a fully established first team player. I was a young 18, 19-year-old coming through. So essentially, I had to decide like, what am I going to do? And the easiest thing was to just follow fashion. Everyone's going uni, so like people are looking at going to DMU, all of the, the notorious unis. And for me, I've got to go uni as well because I don't really have any other prospects outside of playing football. So then
Nigerian parents will probably have something to say about that as well.
Do you know what I mean? So I actually enrolled on an entrepreneurship degree at the University of Greenwich. And I started there. I like how you emphasize started. I started there, and I think maybe about 3 months in, like after periods of truancy, like not attending, pretending to go into uni, just like up to no good, like being unproductive, I just decided to like be up front with my mum. It's like, Mum, listen, I need time off. Like, I can't do this. I'm not my heart's not in it. I don't really want to lie to you, essentially. And obviously tough conversation at that time. You're essentially like telling your parent I'm a failure, and my mum's worked hard. So essentially, that gap year, what I did, funny enough, is I spent a lot of time on like social media at the time. I think that's when Twitter was coming through. And nowadays, where like people could be on social media like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, whatever. What I did was I was following like a lot of football pages and blogs, probably like the blogs that are like blowing up now, and just researching into like the other side of the game, which wasn't about players so much. I mean, I was still on like football players' Twitters and stuff, but starting to look at like what stories are there outside in terms of coaching, what stories are there in terms of like scouting and so forth. And for me, anyone that knows me, they know that I always say like, I've got the best eye for talent. We go and watch a game and I will tell you the best player instantly. Like, obviously that's not very humble, but I'm just being honest. So and that stemmed from watching like the Barcelona, like Rijkaard, always watching like different styles of football, watched the Italian teams, the Dortmunds and the Klopp and so forth. So I decided actually, do you know what, like outside of playing, and in terms of like, having a career or vocation, I'm going to go into the non-playing side. And the two things that appealed to me was definitely the scouting, because of, just me feeling like I had an eye for the game, essentially, or an eye for talent and an understanding for the game. But then coaching was the most, I would say coaching at the time was like more professionalized. So in terms of like going out to like attain qualifications and, upskill yourself, it was coaching courses that were readily available. Scouting wasn't necessarily, but I still wanted to dabble in the two. So what I did, worked with my sister, and I got to shout my sister out every time because she's been my PA like subconsciously for like 10 years now. And yeah, so I worked with her on like identifying the right uni to go and study a sports coaching degree. And we did, thank God, Roehampton. And then I looked into like what courses I could go on to in terms of coaching qualifications. So then went on to the FA, sourced my level 1, and then decided to like start volunteering. So what I did is I reached out to clubs, local clubs in my area, in terms of being able to go in and coach. And then I emailed all of like the London clubs I could think of, professional clubs, about scouting roles. And at the time I remember only 2 clubs got back to me, Charlton Football Club and Brentford Football Club.
Okay.
So Brentford were like, yeah, well listen, you think you can scout, alright, come and see us. Charlton were like, okay, yeah, come and watch our under-15s versus Tottenham at the Valley. And it's funny because the Brentford interview happened 2 weeks before the Charlton interview.
Okay.
So I went to Brentford, spoke to them. They were like, go and find a player. They were like, are you even around football? I'm like, yeah, I've been volunteering with like an under-15s team, so I've seen a few players. And then lo and behold, I ended up like within the 2 weeks, first Sunday I got a chance to, went to go and watch a game, found a boy playing for Leatherhead, sent him into Brentford, and that boy went on to like sign for the academy and actually went on to like sign 2 professional contracts at the club. So Brentford were like, okay, right, you're definitely committed to this, and then you have some sort of like asset essentially, or like credentials to add value to us. And then yeah, the volunteering and the coaching side, that just grew, like developed my like self as a coach. Level 1, level 2, UEFA B. Obviously that was over the course of years. So just I'm trying to give you a timeline here. So after, let's say I graduated to Roehampton, like progressed to Roehampton, like, and went in. So when I went in to study at Roehampton, one of the things I remember the lecturer saying, and actually, like, fortunately it was a black lecturer, so the relatability was there, and I could identify him, and he always spoke to me and like my peers that were similar ethnicity on a level. And he said, listen, don't just come here and study, like make sure you're out there in the real world, like trying to push as well. So I went in a good position where I was getting practical experience at Brentford, and I was also doing coaching in the local area. And
wait, sorry, is this all while you were doing your doing that course then at Roehampton? So you were doing the local work, you're doing the stuff with Brentford, and doing the...
Yeah, so I was studying at Roehampton, in my lectures, and then going out, volunteering for Brentford, working in their academy, and then I was also doing like local stuff around the area. I had moved from Streatham Hill to the Purley area at that time. So,
and sorry again, also, sorry to cut you off, how long after that conversation with your mum, where you were like, I'm not trying to pursue this course anymore at Greenwich, how long after that conversation is all of this now?
Yeah, that probably took like about another, so that happened about 3 months into the academic year. So then the rest of the academic year, let's say between January to May, was about me doing research, like getting onto a coaching course, looking at what university I'm going to go to. So I'd probably say about like 6 months, 6 to 9 months, essentially. Yeah, and so yeah, good turnaround. And I think actually leaving Streatham Hill and going out to Purley as a family at the time probably helped as well, because I was away from like the environment I grew up in. So maybe like subconsciously, like my mindset shifted, and what I was around was a lot different, you know.
I think that's a very interesting point that you raised there, because I was recently watching I think it's on the Judy. No, I lied. It's Rio Ferdinand's one with Ravel Morrison.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
That interview, and he was saying that, bro. That interview upset me, man. Obviously, being a United fan as well, I'm sure it did you as well. Just the potential that he had, but hearing most of the stories that he was telling was upsetting. But the point I'm making is to do with where he was saying a similar thing. Is like when Rio asked him the question, like, you're at United, like, why did you not make more of the opportunity? And he's like, it's just what I was used to. I grew up there. Like I'm from the area, so I'll go. I'm just leaving my boys. I'm just getting training. Like to me, it's literally just training. Like it was just for a normal casual club. Do you get what I mean? So he obviously alluded to the fact that leaving his environment was obviously what was good for him essentially. So yeah, that was just coming to mind as you kind of mentioned, like leaving Streatham to go to Burnley there. But sorry, continue.
Funny enough, shout out Ravel Morrison as well, because he's another one. On Saturday mornings, you know, back in the day, MUTV weren't a thing for us. But my older brother happened to like pattern MUTV somehow, I don't know. So I would wake up and get access to the under 18 games. And this is the time when you had Paul Pogba, Ryan Tunnicliffe, Will Keane, Jesse Lingard, Michael Keane, Ravel playing on a Saturday. So I was already scouting before I even got to scouting. I'd be watching him. I was thinking, this Ravel is mental. Like honestly, and this is even with like Paul Pogba, like a world superstar in the same team. It was clear to see that Ravel was the maverick in that team, you know, and that was what made me like, I'd definitely say he inspired me at the time around like Ronaldinho as well, just like watching football and like picking out talent. So
it's I think that what you just said is part of the reason why Silas Ferguson was happy. I say to the Pogba game, isn't it? Because
exactly.
We've got Ravel, it's calm.
Exactly.
Obviously,
definitely.
One ended up going one way and the other, unfortunately. But yeah, for those interested in football, if you haven't, check out that interview, man. It's a very
nice, good one.
It's a very good interview.
Definitely,
Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
So I mean, so coming back to like Roehampton, that was literally my process. So studying, working. And working from two different roles, so like a coaching aspect and a scouting aspect. And in the area I was working in, which was like the Purley, Banstead, Wellington area, it's like developing a good reputation as like a good young coach coming through essentially. So then that like work, which started off small initially, like started to progress to like paid opportunities and so forth. So, and also as well, simultaneously my work at Brentford, like having been in there, getting players signed, like being part of a region that was doing really well, I progressed to like a coordinator and then to a recruitment manager of the South London area, South London, and oversaw their development centre. So at this point now, like I've developed myself like in terms of academically, like vocational courses, progressing from the level 1 to the UEFA B, and also like just studying the craft essentially. So I graduated. No, in fact, I'm skipping an important part of that. So
please don't.
I wouldn't be doing everyone justice if I did. So essentially, in year 3 of the coaching course.
I thought you meant when you were like 4 years old.
No, that's going too far back. So basically, in year 3 of the coaching degree, and I've got to give the degree a lot of credit because it wasn't just a sports coaching degree, it was quite multidisciplinary in terms of coaching. It gave us an insight into coaching, it gave us an insight into pedagogy, like teaching, gave us an insight into sports science, psychology, and then the final year was the interesting one because it introduced business and sports management. And we had to do a module for the last year on entrepreneurship and sports coaching. And for me, bro, I'll tell you, like, I never wanted to be a businessman. I swear to God, I didn't want to run my own business. Like, and you know now, like later on when you think of like all the like music we might listen to, like people talking about being a boss and that and whatnot, didn't appeal to me. I just wanted to like sit on the bench alongside Alex Ferguson. Do you know what I'm saying? That's all I wanted. I just wanted to work full time in professional football and make a difference from that standpoint. But yeah, lo and behold, we had to do a degree. I mean, a module in that degree. So it was on business. So what my plan was, because I had no business idea whatsoever, I just took the most expedient route possible, which was like, I had been working within my coaching like work, I had been working like for a school, like Wilson's Grammar School, doing some work in there. Yeah. And
I'm laughing, guys, because that's the school I went to, so we discovered this off air that they did a lot of work at my school, and there's a lot of people there.
That's it, yeah. So I was doing some work in Wilson's school, and I was doing like freelance work around the area for like a coaching company. So my idea for my module was, I'm going to set up a football coaching company, and the business model is just going to be everything I've been doing, essentially going into schools, delivering work. And I didn't even have a name, so my mum happens to be in business herself. She's got a healthcare recruitment agency, so I rang up her name. I was like, Unique, because the name is Unique Personnel. So I took the name, I was like, yeah, my company's Unique Skills Coaching. Submitted it, and I tell you what, I got a decent grade. Not necessarily because the business module was great, but I think my presentation skills saved me. So that was my business module, and yeah, I started to think. So I don't know whether it planted a seed in my head, but this was obviously towards the end of like year 3.
Yeah.
Graduated now, and then it's funny because my plan upon graduating was to just like scrap all the like local work I'd been doing and just transition into like working full time at Brentford.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I'd done a good job there, my reputation had been developed, and also I had like the skills and qualifications to do so. Not to mention having a degree in the discipline as well. But the Brentford Academy closed down. So now I'm stuck. I had the work going, so I was stuck, but I was also fortunate in the sense that like I had a lot of like the freelance work I was doing.
Yeah.
So the first thing I did was just say, all right, well, this is easy. I'm gonna go and register Unique Skills Coaching on Company's House, and then start informing all the like local clubs, partners, like clients I had in the area. This is no longer Humphrey coming in and delivering work. This is now Unique Skills Coaching. Like I'm trading as Unique Skills Coaching. And then started to like think about how to grow the business essentially. So first thing I did was start calling up all the schools, emailed all the schools in the area, like schools around Purley, Sutton, Coulsdon, Banstead, Epsom, like Reigate, as many as I could. And one school came back to me. I definitely reached 100 schools, if not more. Yeah, one school come back to me, and funny enough, that school we got in the Yule area, went in there, and did a taster session, and school became a client and still a client today.
Nice.
So yeah, that was like probably the first real like step to saying, okay, right, you're running a business now. You know, you've actually onboarded like a client, essentially. And now, what can you do going forward? So the first thing was to basically take a model I'd seen before, which is like you've got kids that are playing football for local clubs, and they want to do extra training. They want to do additional training. So what I did is I set up a futsal session, because I had done a lot of futsal, especially being at Wilson's, where the futsal program's heavy there. The head of football at the time was an ex-England futsal player, so that was
I
heavy.
really forgot that.
Yeah. So I was heavy on the futsal.
Yeah.
I'd also got my futsal qualifications. So I set up a Friday night futsal session. First session had 7 kids, like in a big sports hall. So that was an L, because we probably needed about quadruple that number to be able to like be profitable. But I remember we started with like 7 kids in the hall. I had 2 volunteers with me at the time, Ryan and Sully, who actually still work with me in the company now. And funny enough, I was coaching Ryan and Sully at that time, so that they must have been about 14, 15. I said, yeah, because listen, on a Friday night after school, get your parents to bring you down, and you lot coaching me. And what I had seen in them from coaching them was like a certain maturity that I liked. So it made me think, all right, well, do you know what, maybe if your football doesn't go the right way, you might get a potential, there might be a possibility for you to go and, you know, have a real decent career in like the business side of football or the non-playing side of football. So yeah, that was it. We started off with like 6, 7 kids in a sports hall, had our one school that was delivering 3 sessions in a week. and then just doing like little different bits. And so, and in terms of how the business grew, it's a blur now, you know. It's a blur.
Wait, so sorry, on the timeline, let's talk years. What year, was this then? So you said 2015, right? Was it?
Yeah.
So 2015, this is when
2015, yeah.
This whole first, the futsal stuff was happening.
Yeah. So first session was November 2015. Yeah, November 2015. That was the first session. We had the school September 2015. So this was like after coming out of uni. That was the summer. Started with the school. Started with the futsal session, and and then also at the time, this isn't enough. That's like one Friday, and then 3 after school clubs a week. That's not enough to sustain myself. So thankfully, I had the work I was still doing with like Wilson School. From Brentford, I actually was fortunate enough to be headhunted by Fulham. So yeah, I moved on from recruiting in the academy for Brentford, moved on to Fulham. So that was basically it. I was just like combining different roles essentially, but then pushing the business in the background. And I'm trying to think of when it all changed really, or like all clicked.
And sorry, while you're thinking about that, then unique skills coaching.
Skills coaching.
So when you were doing the futsal stuff back in 2015, then was the business model then kind of a coaching centre then?
Yeah, so it was a coaching centre. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly. It was a coaching centre. So literally just a sports provider.
Yeah.
If we were contacting schools, we didn't want to be too football heavy because we know that schools are probably often approached with like football initiatives. So I was branding us as a multi-sports company. Oh, if we can't do a football session for you, we'll do dodgeball. Or if we can't do dodgeball, we'll do indoor cricket. Bro, I've never played cricket in my life. I've not even watched a game. So yeah, I mean, that's what we had to do essentially. We had to be adaptable. So that was it, the business side, the school side, multi-sports in schools. And then outside of that, we would go in heavy with the football, essentially. So as the years progressed, let's say 2016 now, I think we onboarded more schools. So started to get more schools, and then that's when like other coaches started to come in. I had to start getting initially friends or people that I knew, contacts within sports coaching or football coaching to come and do some work with me. And it grew steadily, like more centres. In fact, I think we actually had that one centre for a while, and then we happened to onboard a local grassroots club in the area. So I'll say it, North Park Rangers, which biggest club in the Banstead area. So
North Park, are they?
North Park Rangers, screen team.
Okay. Yeah.
So like they're like very populous in that area, and then they weren't necessarily like your high level grassroots club like Sutton United or Carshalton. But for me, operating in that area specifically where like my reputation was established, it made sense to partner with that sort of club, because then that would give us access to support them and also get their members to feed into what we're doing essentially. So like come to our holiday camps, come to our soccer schools essentially. And also bear in mind as well, being a black man operating in that area as well, so it's had its challenges, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm thankful because like for me, one thing I see is that if you're someone who cares and you actually are serious about what you do and like you take pride in your quality, people will eventually see you for who you truly are, and like the biases come out of the way. So in the Banstead area now, we've grown and like we're the most established company and recognisable company in that area. So yeah, essentially as the company grew, we had schools, took on more schools in that area and surrounding areas. We started to develop like more sessions as we got clubs on board, and then it was around 2018, so that's probably like 2016, 2017, growing steadily. 2018 now, I decide that I'm going to leverage my work with Fulham because I was always like putting players into Fulham and getting them signed. I said, for me, there's nothing in this area where I see like local. I don't see many professional football clubs like attacking this Banstead, Wellington, Purley area. So I said to Fulham, listen, like me as an individual scout who's been, getting success, I'm going to set up an academy which is going to help me get all the best players in this area into my academy, rather than me have to fight off like other local soccer schools essentially. And that was a strategic move for myself, because I wanted to access better quality players. Essentially, if you've got like 2 good quality players, but they're surrounded by 8, average players, they're eventually gonna they're gonna grow tired, essentially, like reach a tedium and say, I want the next thing.
Yeah.
And those players, what I found in the business is that they are players that are like very good players and not signed to a professional football club. That's normally them and their parents' motivation. So if you can provide a environment that is actually giving them a better chance of that, then you're likely to retain them and get commitment. So Fulham gave me the go ahead, they gave me the green light to set up in the area. And what I had to do is I had to look at the area we was in. Our centre for our academy at the time, we actually initially called it a Centre of Excellence. It was in the Talworth area, so around Banstead. And I felt the demographic of player that I wanted, or that I felt would be suitable for Fulham, not all of them were there. So we had to start coming closer into like South London essentially, and trying to think what's that sweet spot. So then we identified somewhere in Wellington. So Wellington, you've got closer access into Croydon, into like Merton, Mitcham, obviously Purley, Banstead, Sutton's still accessible. So we set up there, and then we started to get more diversity in players, and like we still brought the talented players over from the Banstead area and Tadworth, and then mixed them together. And in our first season, got success. Boys went in, signed for Fulham. I was thinking, yeah, this is the right thing to do. So the academy's grown. The venue we identified was a great venue as well, because they had just built a brand new facility.
Nice.
And they're still building on it. So our academy now is just in a great place, just going to grow, exponentially, essentially.
Sorry, can I just interject and ask you a question there? How at this stage then are you, specifically with this Fulham and this Centre of Excellence that you were running at the time, how are you making money at this point? Were Fulham paying you a salary?
Yeah,
or
Fulham paying me.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
And they kind of gave you the funds and stuff to go and do this, was it?
Well, so, I mean, we were making money from like the schools, obviously, being in the schools. Fulham paying myself, Wilson's paying myself as well. The Centre of Excellence, like parents coming and paying, we're doing a local soccer school.
Okay.
So we're making money, not great money, but we're making decent money at this time. And essentially, with the academy, it was always going to be paid as well. So it was essentially us setting up an additional session. Parents still had to pay for it. It's just that there was more incentive to pay for a session like that, rather than just pay £10 pay as you go. Now go to something where it's a subscription. Yeah. And it's a more advanced session, if you like.
And were you very much leveraging the fact that Fulham were buying it?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think you have to. And one of the things I did is I wanted to make sure we didn't sell dreams. Yeah. Because not everybody is going to get signed. Even if you think about the percentages, the statistics are low in terms of the ones that go through. However, if we could showcase that even one across 3 age groups, I think it was, in our first season as an academy, that side of the business, even if it was just one, that was success in my eyes. It didn't stop the fact that we still provided the best care for the kids, still tried to get them the game, still tried to fulfill the value that we said we would provide to families. So
yeah, because I think in them situations, it's always, as you say, every kid has to be realistic, right? Well, you can dream as a kid, but then it comes to a point where you do have to be realistic. And I think, as I was just thinking back, if I was in a setup like that and I didn't make it, the fact that I'd gone through that experience alone would still be fantastic.
Yeah. No, exactly. And that's the difference for us. We feel like even if you may not have a Chelsea badge on or play for a Fulham or Chelsea or Arsenal, there's still a difference between going to like a good quality independent football academy from just playing for your local football club, where your left back's dad is the manager. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
and left back should not be anywhere near the squad, but he gets picked every week.
That's another story. So, yeah, I mean, like, at the end of the day, those parents, they're heroes, 100%. They're volunteers. They give up their time, but they don't spend hours the way we do. You know, we actually have one thing I've realised as well, being in this business, is that parents actually don't think it's a full-time job. You know, we have our administrative hours, we have our operations, our processes. We're studying. It's a craft for us, you know. So, the academy, it had its value essentially. It's been able to like offer value, and it's growing. So, coming back to 2018, in fact 2017, which was the year of my 25th birthday. Bear in mind, I've got the coaching business running. It's established unique skills coaching, and I'm scouting for Fulham. So within the coaching business, the model is what I've said: provision in schools, holiday camps, supporting local partner clubs, offering evening sessions to young kids that want to play football at different levels. Then we've got our advanced program, which became the academy, and is now the academy, and we've got our one-to-one sessions. So I had a period where like our one-to-ones were just flying, like consistently parents asking us, can you deliver a session, our one-to-one, and was that even the year? That was the year actually, 2016 going to 2017. I was working so much. At this point, I'm thankful now because I'm getting to a position now where I don't necessarily need Wilson's. So I think I've like decided to leave Wilson School, just solely focus on the business and focus on my scouting. Those are the two things, and they're leveraging each other, so it's fine, yeah. But 2016, I had a physical breakdown. Really? Yeah, like December, like that period where kids are off school. It's a time normally when school holidays, where you can smash out so many sessions. Yeah. Like, because now you're not only operating within the you're not only operating from beyond 3 p.m. when kids come out of school, you're operating from 9 a.m. through till early evening. Yeah. So my one-to-ones are just like going through the roof. I'm out working every day. I'm getting stressed because I'm no longer in the office or being able to, like, I say office, I'm no longer on the laptop during the day, like being able to like respond to certain inquiries or get certain emails done that I wish to. I'm overloaded. So yeah, I had a physical breakdown. There was nothing wrong with me. I just like felt ill, headache, like virus-like. And then I felt, you know what, I haven't been prioritizing myself, like my health, essentially, you know. So I need to start looking after me, you know what I mean? And I think that's one thing that we forget, like especially I'm going on deep on you, but saying I think like with our generation, especially as social media has come to the fore, we all forget about self-care. And I'm not saying my self-care was like burning incense candles or like sitting down being zen. My self-care was just going to the gym. Yeah. Go to the gym, read, do you know what I'm saying? Like, don't forget like who your best self is essentially. Yeah. So I
think it's quite hard. It's quite easy to do that though, especially as you say, because the business at this point is still kind of like a year and a half.
Yeah, well, 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years old. Yeah. And as you say, kind of you're going through a period where you've now got probably unprecedented demand for your services type of thing. It's like, and it was just you at this point. Or did you still have Ryan and?
No, I had Ryan and Solly, and I had some other coaches as well. Yeah. I had coaches. I had freelance coaches supporting my thing as well. Definitely, going into schools and so. Yeah. But yes, I mean, it's not a brand at this point. It's me. It's Humphrey, innit? Like, and even certain times, people will come away from us. Clients would walk away from the business because if Humphrey's not available to coach them, or Humphrey's not available to oversee a session, they're not interested. Really? So yeah, look, it was basically me, and I didn't really feel like it was a business. It was me coaching, and I had people supporting. So 2017, that turn of the year, end of 2016, where I felt I need to switch this up now. As well as like being driven to like grow my business, I need to grow like myself as well, like look after myself. So like got a lot on, like got heavy on fitness, like reading, just up developing myself, you know. And that also stems from uni as well. Credit uni just giving me a better, like being more enlightened mentally, yeah. And in that year of my 25th birthday, I decided, do you know what, the same services that parents will pay me to come and coach their kid, there's an opportunity for parents to pay me to come and scout their kid as well. Because traditionally, scouting it's been the old man on the parks, and he's only looking for the very best player.
Yeah.
But in being in the scouting industry, what I've learned over the years is that scouts aren't just people that pick you and say, yeah, you're good, okay, you're gonna go to that session, you're gonna go to that club. Scouts will actually say, I like the way you do this, you need to work on that. This is what I loved about your style. And actually that's a form of feedback for the player. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying now, yeah.
So actually scouts can guide as well as like provide. Essentially, that rhymes. I didn't. But
if this ever doesn't work, you can
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So yeah, man. So like for me, I decided that, and I also had parents as well putting pressure on me, because I would be coaching their kid, and they'd be also asking me, oh yeah, when can you sort me out with like an opportunity at this club?
Yeah.
And I think there was one kid that I ended up giving an opportunity to. And if I'm being completely honest with myself, brutally honest, although I acknowledge he was a good player, I can't say the kid was an outstanding player.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I actually put him into another club other than Fulham. I spoke to a friend at another club, and the boy went in there for a trial opportunity, and he did okay. Didn't get signed, but did okay. And that was where it dawned on me, you know what, this is what I need to do. I need to set up a service like this. So this is now 2017, and because I've become so fixated on this idea of the scouting service, this innovation I've had, essentially, I've started to neglect my coaching business. Because bear in mind, I love the scouting side as much as I do the coaching side, and a lot of the coaching side as well is away from academy football and like working with top end players. It has a bit of that, but it's also got the very young children that sometimes it's more of a babysitting service than it is actually football development. As much as you try and give them the necessary tools to be able to play football. So I started to want to get someone to manage that. And I was looking around my members of staff, and through no fault of their own, some of them not very experienced, some of them just didn't have the credentials at the time. And some of them didn't even have the character, to be honest. We've had a turnover of staff. I won't apologise for that. So I didn't have anyone that I could entrust to oversee this whilst I developed this. So I went through a period in 2018, 2019, where I'm like, I need to get rid of this business.
Really?
Yeah.
When you say
skills coaching.
Okay, yeah.
You need skills coaching, a coaching business. I need to get rid of it. But at the same time, the business is growing.
Yeah.
We're taking on more schools. Like we're getting contracts now, and it's like we're being able to start to employ people and work full time in the business. So I'm like, okay, well, damn, I can't get rid of this business, which is established and essentially it's helping me earn my keep. So for the next 2 years, there was a lot of deliberation, a lot of stress. I remember must have been 2009, on my way to doing a session, broke down.
Really?
Yeah, I was on the phone to my dad. I was like, Dad, man, I need help. And bro, I burst into tears. I'm on the phone. I was driving my van at the time. Driving to a session in Sussex. I'm like, Dad, I need help. And I just burst into tears. I didn't know what I was gonna do, because I had the coaching business, which I'm grateful for, but I want to do something else now. I've got a great idea I want to like bring to life. So at the turn of 2020, which was last year, or no, not even before that, I would say it was the summer holidays of 2019, where the kids are off school and they're progressing from the 2019 to 2020 semester. That was the summer that I did a lot of like reflecting, and I thought, you know, listen, you've now taken 2 years, by the way, since you've had this scouting idea to do something about it. Like, you're procrastinating, you've tried a couple of things, they've not worked out. Essentially, make a decision. And then I realised, actually, you have a football coaching business. As much as you might deliver sports in schools, people identify with Unique Skills Coaching as a football company, and you have a good team. Yeah, certainly some members in there that you can definitely attest to their characters, and you can help them develop. Why not just set up a football brand? Like, why not just
encompassing?
Yeah, because what you're going to do is a scouting service to help young people. You're already helping young people through football, just through a different methodology, coaching, scouting. So the initial idea I had on my 25th birthday, which was Lionheart Football ID, I was like, I want to stick with the Lionheart football name. That's the one that rings true to me. The Unique Skills Coaching.
Mumsy, I appreciate you for it, but
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, there you go. Like, exactly, Mumsy. That's what I'm saying. So you wanna have a football brand. I wanted to have a football brand. So I felt, okay, merge the two together. And shout out to probably 100 people that I like, that will lend me their ear, and I'll just chew their ear off about it. Oh, what do you think I should do? I'll decide. I'll be like, yeah, aren't you just doing the same thing? And also, like, credit to my ex as well, because, you know, she said that to me in just like the most simplistic and humble way. So I decided to merge the two. So, and just say Lionheart Football. And just grow a football development company. So yeah, 2019, that was all about preparing ourselves to essentially grow the business, from just being a coaching company to being a football development company with different divisions. And what I did is, with my staff, I looked at the people within the business internally and saw all of their different motivations and their career paths, and advertised within the business, like, look, we're setting up this company and we're going to have different divisions. We've got our academy, which is a program of itself. We've got our foundation, which is like a lot of our community work, the work in schools, the holiday camps and so forth, the work with like grassroots clubs. We've got our performance side, which is working individually with players and improving them from that aspect, their individual performance. And then we've got our scouting side, which is basically delivering the scouting services to players and advertise for roles to be like head of different divisions, you know. So 2019, 2020, you know what happened next.
Oh,
yeah, so I mean,
okay, so engrossed in your stories, I completely forgot what happened. Completely forgot.
So you know,
we did say that it took. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so 2020, you know what happened next.
Right.
So I mean, at this point, thankfully, we've established ourselves, football development company. The infrastructure's in place. 2020 comes and the virus hits.
Yeah, Boris Below, yeah.
There you go.
Set up our plans.
Yeah, the virus hits, so that's been tough in itself. Thankfully, like, we've been established, so what we've done is we've essentially just adapted, you know. But it was tough, essentially. I mean, it's like, straight away, I remember I think it was March, like 3 months into the year, bang, lockdown, obviously nothing's happening straight away. I'm looking at business revenue out the window.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, like for me, I mean, I kind of like 2020 till now has been a blur essentially, because it's almost felt stop-start. Like 1 minute you're indoors, you're locked in, and then what we had to do is just adapt standard. What can we do to like give our clients the most, which is like been engagement through Zoom, done a lot of that. Like just try to connect with people as much as possible, but to actually like grow the business, and I say grow the business, which is very important because this year, which is actually our 5th year as a company, from Unique Skills Coaching to Lionheart Football, this is our last year. 2020 was our 5th business year anniversary, and that was the year where we was like supposed to grow, launch the Scout inside, you know, start to grow it. We was already doing like research and like doing trials and testers with like individual clients from our network, but I was actually gonna like boost it and try and grow that from on a regional scale. But you know, the lockdown's been a bit difficult, so we've just kept with like what we do have control over, which is like all our kids that we engage on a weekly basis. Just try to engage them digitally. Very difficult though. Some of them not interested.
Really?
Yeah, because and fair play to them, because what we have found is even the times where like I think we came out briefly, was it August? Sometime. Everyone came back, bang, you know. Schools have been difficult to get back into. Schools are a large proportion of our business, and hopefully now, as like things come to an end, fingers crossed, we'll go back into the schools. But yeah, of the kids that we can access, as soon as it goes allowed out, they're back into the business. As soon as it shut down again, okay, we're going online. All right, 50% of them go away, 50% of them stay. So yeah, that's currently where we're at. To be fair, I had to leave Fulham because of the relationship we had built with so many other clubs. Like,
So just kind of tapping into your mental state around that time and how you dealt with essentially rejection, if you like, from.
I didn't want them knowing that, you know, it's a young black man calling, trying to get business with them at school. I remember sitting in meetings, and I'd be like, I'm gonna check with my manager and let you know, like pretend I'm the owner of the company.
In recent years, there's obviously been a lot of talk about kind of the psychological side of the game, particularly for young kids who go through academies and stuff, and ultimately hit about 16, 17, 18, get told, sorry, you're not going to make it to the first team. But what is your kind of take on that, and what do you think can be done in football to help that? What's next for Lionheart Football? What advice would you give to the aspiring entrepreneur? It's the years 2030, let's say. Maybe a bit later. Coronavirus is no longer a thing. That's just a distant memory now.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Yeah.
That's just a distant memory. But you're looking back in your life and you're like, yeah, I'll say it's been successful. What do you see having to have happened for you to get to that point, for you to deem okay, been successful?